Israel and Iran are both playing down an apparent Israeli airstrike near a major airbase and nuclear site in central Iran. The muted public responses signal the two bitter enemies are ready to prevent. Today is Friday, April 19th. Israel and Iran are both playing down an apparent Israeli airstrike near a major airbase and nuclear site in central Iran. The muted public responses signal the two bitter enemies are ready to prevent their latest eruption of violence from escalating into a full-blown region-wide war. But the indecisive outcome of weeks of tensions, which included an alleged Israeli strike that killed 2 Iranian generals, an unprecedented Iranian missile barrage on Israel, and the apparent Israeli strike early Friday in the heart of Iran, has done little to resolve the deeper grievances between the foes and left the door open to further fighting. A jury of 12 people has been seated in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in New York. Alternates are now being selected. The rapid progress Thursday afternoon propels the case closer to opening statements and weeks of testimony in a case charging the Republican with falsifying business records to suppress stories about his sex life in the final days of the 2016 election. The jury includes a sales professional, a software engineer, an English teacher, and multiple lawyers. The case centers on $130,000 Trump's lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen paid to porn actor Stormy Daniels. Trump faces 34 felony counts. He denies any wrongdoing. The judge in Donald Trump's hush money trial has ordered the media not to report where potential jurors have worked. Judge Juan Merchan also asked journalists on Thursday to show some discretion on what they say about the potential jurors, as he tries to seat a jury pool of people who can remain anonymous. 2 jurors who had earlier been seated were dismissed on Thursday, with one expressing concern about people she knew questioning her about whether she was on the jury. Besides showing the difficulties in seating an anonymous jury, the actions may put news organizations in the difficult position of not reporting something they heard in an open courtroom. Millions of Indians are voting in a 6-week election that's a referendum on Hindu nationalist Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The first round of voting was held across parts of 21 states on Friday. Modi is seeking a rare 3rd term in office. He is up against a broad opposition alliance that hasn't named their candidate for prime minister if they win. India's voters will elect 543 members for the lower house of parliament during the staggered elections running until June 1st. The votes will be counted on June 4th. House congressional leaders are toiling on a delicate bipartisan push towards weekend votes to approve a $95 billion package of foreign aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, as well as several other national security policies. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson this week set in motion a plan to advance the package, which has been stymied in Congress since October of last year by a bulk of GOP lawmakers resistant to approving more funding for Ukraine's fight against Russia. As the Republican speaker faced an outright rebellion from his right flank and growing threats for his ouster, it became clear that Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries would have to lend help every step of the way. A group of lawmakers from 6 states have worked on the first major proposals to rein in AI discrimination, but those bills face blistering headwinds from every direction. Lawmakers in Colorado, Texas, and Connecticut, among others, have come together Thursday to argue the case for their proposals. The press conference follows a tug-of-war between civil rights-oriented groups and the industry over core components of the legislation. Organizations including labor unions and consumer advocacy groups are pulling for more transparency from companies. The industry is offering tentative support, but digging in its heels over those accountability measures. The United States has vetoed a widely backed UN resolution that would have paved the way for full United Nations membership for Palestine. The resolution that faced a vote Thursday would have raised the Palestinian status from a non-member observer state to full membership. U.S. Deputy Ambassador Robert Wood told the Security Council that the U.S. vetoes does not reflect opposition to Palestinian statehood, but instead is an acknowledgement that it will only come from direct negotiations between the parties. This is the second Palestinian attempt for full membership, and it comes as the war in Gaza has put the more than 75-year-old Israeli-Palestinian conflict at center stage. Legislation that could ban TikTok if its China-based owner doesn't sell its stake has won a major boost as House Republicans included it in a package of bills that would send U.S. aid to Ukraine and Israel. The bill could be law as soon as next week if Congress moves quickly. The TikTok bill passed the House in March and has widespread support in both chambers. It was included in the House Foreign Policy package after negotiations with the Senate over how long Chinese technology firm ByteDance Limited would have to sell its stake in the app. President Joe Biden has said he would sign it. New York police have disbanded a pro-Palestinian protest encampment at Columbia University and arrested more than 100 protesters, including the daughter of a prominent Minnesota congresswoman. Several student demonstrators said they also were suspended from Columbia and Barnard College, including Isra Hirsi, the daughter of Democratic U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar. The congresswoman had questioned Columbia's president Wednesday about the school's targeting of pro-Palestinian protesters. Police said 108 people, including Omar's daughter, were charged with trespassing. 2 people were also charged with obstructing government administration. New York Mayor Eric Adams said the city was asked by university officials to remove the protesters opposed to Israeli military action in Gaza. Guitar legend and Allman Brothers Band co-founder Dickey Betts has died at age 80. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer wrote the band's biggest hit, Ramblin' Man. Manager David Spiro told the Associated Press that Betts died early Thursday at his home in Osprey, Florida. He says Betts had been battling cancer for more than a year and had chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Betts shared lead guitar duties with Duane Allman in the original Allman Brothers Band to help give the group its distinctive sound and create a new genre. Southern rock. Acts ranging from Lynyrd Skynyrd to Kid Rock were influenced by the Allmans' music, which combined blues, country, R&B, and jazz with 60s rock. Today's news has been reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Friday, April 19th.